Hey, y'all, I see you. I see you. Y'all came straight from on the air and joined me on Facebook and on YouTube. I see y'all. Yay! Okay, we're back with our fourth edition of Faithfully Speaking. I am your sister, Melissa, Wade in the water. And let me just say this has been wonderful. God gave me the vision to do this. I had been spoken into so many months ago about Melissa, you need to start a podcast. Melissa, you're going to start a podcast, this, that, and the other. And so finally, I stepped out to do it the beginning of this month. And I contacted my brother, Bishop Godbee, and he was like, I'm with you, whatever you want to do. His favorite line, I'm just a servant, my sister. So he's been joining me all month, and it has been absolutely wonderful. And I thank you all so very much. I don't take it for granted that you just come. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming and joining in. And, by all means, give me some feedback. Let me know, what maybe I can do, maybe what shouldn't. I don't know. I'm up for whatever it is, and just, being led by the Holy Spirit, most definitely. But like I said, we're back. Fourth edition, Faithfully Speaking, where we take the topics and the conversation and concerns and issues and questions, and we share it in good, positive, honest, loving insight, and just great conversation. That's what it's all about. We are here. You know from whom we are connected to, and so that's what you're going to get, because we've been talking about relationships with the month of February, and we've gone through married and being single, and then we did family relationships. And today, our final segment is about friendships. What about those friendships? How to be a friend, all these wonderful things. Well, we're going to get into it. But right now, let me bring back my wonderful guest, my brother, my friend. He is an awesome man of God that you can hear every Saturday morning at 7:30 with a wonderful, wonderful word from God. Yes, the ministry of the River Church, my brother, my friend, Bishop Ronald L. Godbee. Yay!
I got a Jennifer Holiday spirit on me. I ain't going nowhere. I'm just gonna hang around. I can't believe one. Yeah.
I keep telling you, don't go far, because before you know it, you're like, Melissa, wasn't I just with you in February? I'm like, yes, but I want you back. So you know what? You helped me kick this off, so you have a very special place in my heart as my brother, as a man of God, as a teacher, and just, being real. And, that's what I love about you. Without saying anymore, that I know anybody that's watching and listening with me right now is saying, yeah, Melissa, we understand exactly where you're coming from, because I want to reach the masses. I want to reach, not just the saved, but the unsaved. That's what we are petitioned to do. So I want this segment to be something that, those who are saying, I don't know too much about God, but let me hear what they have to say. And we're able to reach them. We're able to ask questions from what they would ask as well, as well as, and giving them just some good conversation, some good positive insight. Not to mention, we're going to give them the word as well, because that's what's here. That's what's here. We're going to give you the word as well. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this. Bishop, again, thank you so very much for being a part of this. And we've had a wonderful time talking about relationships. Bottom line.
We have. We've saved some relationships, and we've saved some people. And, again, the response is incredible. And so we know that we've touched some lives, and to God be the glory. And thank you, Melissa, for always providing a platform for people to be better. We just better when we're around Melissa Wade. You just have a way of making us all better. And we're grateful for it.
Well, you know what? I thank God for it all. I mean, he says, if you take the talents that he's given you and you use them for his glory, he will multiply them. So I just see this as a multiplication. He says, hey, this podcast is just a different way that you can reach people in a different way. And that's what it's all about. So let's talk about these relationships. And I love it that we can just sit back and talk about them. So this session, we're talking about friendships, Bishop. And one thing that my mom has always told me, in order to have friends, you have to know how to be a friend.
Absolutely.
And that's easier said than done sometimes, especially when you're young. You don't quite understand. I'm a friend. And you think you're a friend. In your mind, you think you're a friend.
Right.
but it doesn't always seem to come out that way. So let's just start by, of course, going to the word about what does the Bible say about friendships?
Yeah. So again, great question. And man, we're gonna dig in and you know how we do. We're just gonna blow up the spot. How about that? So let's
Let's
just
do
start
it.
right there. You know, John 15, 14 through 17, Jesus makes a very unique statement. And it's not so much what he says, but it's when he says it. And he tells his disciples that I no longer call you servants, but I call you friend, which means that friend is a tag that is often given too soon. It really shouldn't be given to deep down in the journey of the relationship. So as we go, we grow and we grow into the goal of friendship. I believe that too many people assign the tag in a friendship too soon. And as soon as we meet somebody, we say, that's my friend, that's my friend. But love is the given and friendship is the goal. I want you to write that down. Love is the given, friendship is the goal.
I like that.
We so easily call people friend, and it's so hard for us to say, I love you. But the first thing that you should be able to say to anyone is, I love you, because love is the given. And the last thing that you should ever call anyone is friend. So love is the given, but friendship is the goal. Don't ever give that tag and that title too soon. So Jesus teaches us that it's towards the end of the journey that someone has the opportunity to earn the title of friendship. So it's an earned title. It should not be freely given. I used to have to caution my son. He'd be playing on the playground with somebody and say, Daddy, can I stay a little while longer? I want to play with my friend. I'm like, son, you just met him. He's not a friend. He's somebody that you're playing with, but be very careful that you don't assign casual conversation,
Mm,
casual interaction, and then call it friendship. That's where you get deceived. That's where you get hurt. That's where you get betrayed because you've given the title too soon.
that's good. That's real good, Bishop.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about it that way.
Mhm.
Wow. See, you're gonna make me rethink. I'm like, okay, yeah, good to see you, girl. Yes, okay, okay. And then at the same token, I'll tell you and say, real friends. I don't know if there's a difference between friends and real friends, or if that's just friends. But you gave us food for thought, most definitely. And the song that came to mind when you were saying that is Israel Holton, who says, "I am a friend of God. I am a friend of God. He calls me friend."
Yeah. 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 And again, that's an earned space. It's us now giving back to God what he desired to see when he died for us on the cross. So grace demands a response. And so many people just, I'm covered by grace, 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 grace. And I get it. But anytime somebody does something for you, they had an expectation when they did it. And so when God died for us on the cross, grace gave us an opportunity to be to him what he died to see in us. And so now when he calls us friend, it's only because we are now formed in the image and the fashion that he saw in his mind when he hanged, bled, and died for us on that cross. And so the goal is to be not only a friend to Jesus, but for Jesus to be a friend to us as well. That means that there's mutual interaction and there's mutual admiration, and we're coming to a conclusion that looks more like Christ every day.
And that definition right there is what friendship is all about.
Yeah, yeah.
See? You're giving us some good nuggets, some good nuggets, always, always. So with that, like you said, everybody isn't your friend. They earn that title. How important is it that we have friendships, or is it important at all? I mean, some people might say, I don't have friends at all.
Oh, and I feel so sorry for you. Again, if that's your brag and your boast, and if you're so saved and sanctified that it's just you and Jesus, and a lot of saints like to live in that space. They're dating Jesus and they're just alone with Jesus, but that was never the goal of Christianity. Remember, the goal of Christianity was to find common union and to find a space where we can exist together so that we can contribute to each other's lives. So in Christianity, it's a very unique religious perspective because it's the only religion that has no table laws. Now, that's extremely important because that means we can sit with anyone to discover how we can unify and work together. And so there is no separation in Christianity. It gives us opportunity to find our friend in any community, in any faith, in any group. And that's the beauty of Christianity, is that we get to go beyond the boxes and the boundaries of religiosity, and we get an opportunity to find our community in humanity. And so your friend could be anywhere, and your friend could be anyone. And the beauty of Christianity is it gives me permission and liberty to find that relationship so that together, collectively, many hands makes light work, and we can do something to contribute to the cause of humanity because we've been able to push past the borders and the boundaries that religiosity establishes for us. And we get to find our hope and our faith in each other because there's no more separation and there's no more divide.
So now I know you have parents saying, okay, we can be friends with anyone. But of course, as a parent, you grow up and you see your child being friends with someone or the character of someone that you don't desire them to be with.
Yeah.
How do you say, hey, look, I mean, you can't necessarily say they can't be your friend, but what guidelines do you help guide them into the way of having the best friends that will help make them whole?
Yeah.
Or what you suppose, or what you see fit.
And that's having the strength of character to exist in a relationship and not conform to other people. To be a friend is to have established ethics and morals and boundaries and character so that I can convey those behaviors and those attitudes to someone that might not have them. I think that what we fear the most is the thing that we're anointed least for. And so the church, again, has to demonize things that it's not anointed for. And so we just rather call it a demon and dismiss it rather than to exist in the face of it, to become an example for it, so that through our ability to convey and to exhibit the behavior of Christ, that through that somebody has an opportunity to be changed and transformed. And so that happens in friendship. That's the way that people are transformed. That's the way, because we can become what we behold. If there's never a pattern placed before people in relationship and in friendship, how can they ever become? And so it's absolutely asinine for a Christian community to believe that people can become something other when they have no pattern of a person in their face to give them something to strive for. Yeah.
I like it. I like that. Yeah, absolutely. I think I tell my son that all the time. I said, yeah, they're your friend as long as you're leading the way in the best way that you can and not following,
Yeah.
have to make sure that we
Yeah, and I can't catch what you have. Behavior is not contagious.
Yeah.
You can be influenced, but again, that's where standing strong in your Christian character comes in. I have the privilege of, crossing camps and, living in spaces with people that, some say a bishop shouldn't exist with, but how else can I reach them?
Right.
Jesus is confused with the wine bibber and the glutton. One who had never put a drink to his lips is called a wine bibber and a glutton. And my question is, why aren't you confused? Somebody should be confused about you. The problem is we associate with everyone who looks like us, acts like us, and subsequently we can never change anyone into anything because we're scared to be around them. But somebody should confuse you. Somebody should confuse your character and your behavior because you have the courage to be around somebody that doesn't look like you and doesn't act like you. And you can call them friend, because you have an opportunity now to win them to a behavior and to a discipline that otherwise they would not have had.
The Bible says we are fishers of men. Maybe we are fishers of friends, but you have to go out. If you're going to use the same spot and the same bait, you're going to get the same fish. And if you want to catch a crappie and not a you know, swordfish or bass or something, you've got to go somewhere else and you would just use a different bait. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah. And, I think that if we really, understood that we are Christians, that it's not an act, we're not acting Christian, because whenever you get act, you get caught out of character. And again, I think that that's why we are so afraid of other, is
Mhm.
because we don't know who we are. But when you know who you are, I can't become anything other. So I
Right.
have to stay who I am. And if you can accept me, embrace me, and love me for the Christian that I am, then I'm not afraid of you for being who you are. And at the end of the day, you'll see a God who loves you. You'll see a God who is a friend to you, even when you're not a friend to him. And you will have an exhibition of grace and mercy and kindness and gentleness and meekness right in your face.
Do you think it's a fear of maybe being judged or possibly being judged by those who are watching you who may not be saved? You're the saved one, and now you're out here, you're doing this or that, and oh, is that how saved people act? And I mean, I guess, like you said, being sure of who you are and whose you are has to really, really counter for that when people are there and they're looking at you as if you're the saved one in this area.
Yeah, and that is if that's what salvation means, but that's not what salvation means. Again, we kick and we, so easily, you know, flow in colloquialisms and terms and ideas that we have adopted our own definitions and philosophies and ideologies, and they are so far away from the true definition. You know, to be Christian is to be called people of that way.
Mhm.
Um, we must understand that that was a derogatory. That was not a badge of honor. It was people who did things a way, the way that Christ did. He
Mhm.
hung with publicans and sinners, and he, hung around people that those of the temple said that he shouldn't be around. He forgave women who were caught in adultery that religiosity said stone her. And Jesus says, I have no stone. That's the way I want to be. I want to be a person of that way. I don't want to be the one who stands as judge and jury over someone's life. God is God enough to do that. Any God who is so inferior where he needs us to execute his judgment, he's less than a God that is deserving of being sovereign and being reigner and ruler of the universe. So he does not need us to do his bidding. He only needs us to do his reflecting. And so he is the sun, we are the moon. We simply reflect the light. And when we exist in relationships to reflect the light of Christ, then that's where the transformative power of Christ comes into play. Because again, you can't be illuminated by something that you're not under or around. You can only be illuminated by light when you are light. And when you are light, you never fear darkness. So I have no fear of darkness. Uh, Darkness flees when light comes in the room. And so I don't have to worry about how people judge me, how people think about me. Uh, Sorry to tell you, you don't have a heaven or hell to put me in. When Christ saved me, he secured it and solidified it for all eternity, and he will not take it back. And so, because of my relationships and my friendships, he loves me even the more when I reach with the hands of divinity and hold broken humanity. Then that's when I'm doing the work of Christ. And now I'm a person who is of that way.
That's why I love you. I mean, he is the sun, I am the moon. This whole reflection thing, you see, you put it in a way where we can see it. You're like, yes,
Yeah.
that's it. That is it. Woo. All
Yeah.
right, all right. So the Bible says in Proverbs 18 and 24, a man who has friends must himself be friendly. And
Yeah.
I started out by saying, my mom always said, in order to have friends, you have to be a friend. But when you're young, like you said with your son, we think everybody's our friend. Oh, I met you yesterday and we had good conversation. She's my friend.
Mhm.
But you said something that made me think you have to earn that title.
Yeah.
So can you expound on that? How do you become a friend or a good friend? What are some of the traits, characteristics?
Yeah. Again, loyalty, love, friendship, fidelity, all of these things are connected in covenant. And it's a tapestry of experiences that we have together. It's making it to the end of things and looking around and seeing that that person is still there. When others abandon and forsaken, it's the friend that is present and accounted for. When you're misunderstood, it's being able to sit in the presence of somebody who will give you ears to listen to your gripes and your complaints, your frustrations. Again, it's not conforming someone into you. It's being to them what you desire to have for yourself. The best friend is somebody who understands what they never had, and they commit themselves to being that for everyone who's around them. And so for me, I look to be for everyone the thing that I never had. And that's the best friend. The best friend is to find the places that you have been forsaken, the places that you've been left for dead, the places that you have been disconnected and disjointed, and then assure to the person that you're in covenant with that that'll never happen to them because they have you. And that's the power of friendship. You get to be what you never had. And so to become what others have done to you, it's an egregious mismanagement of the currency that God has given to you of covenant and friendship. It is to be not the broken, but it is to be the healer. It's not to be the one who leaves, it's to be the one that says, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. And so I challenge every person who's listening to us to discover the things that have hurt you and don't be that. To discover the things that have damaged you and the things that have deformed you, the things that have disconnected you, and don't be that. Be the exact antithesis to someone. And then you'll find that in being that for someone, then they'll be that back to you. And that's when you get what you never had, when you be to others what you never have had happen for you. And now you get a harvest on the seed that you've been to everybody else. And that's how now he who has a who he who gets a friend is the one who has first been a friend. And you will get the best friends from sowing that seed of unselfish friendship into the life of other people.
Now, I'm going to go to this question.
Let's go.
Because, like you said, there are those that says, hey, this is a good friend of mine, a best friend of mine. But then what happens when the feeling isn't quite mutual?
Yeah.
Maybe you're that friend to say, hey, look, I'm not quite as attached to them as they are to me, but how do you tell it without breaking or that friendship, so to speak, or damaging it, so to speak?
Yeah, like with any relationship, honesty is key, and if you can't handle someone's honesty, then you can't handle their friendship. Mm-hmm. Again, I think that that's where we lose friendship is in the facade. True friendship is found in truth. And if you can express your truth and it not run me away, then we have a chance to really be friends. Again, I think that that's where we get disenfranchised and discouraged with this idea of friendship is we live so with a mask and a facade, that you really never know who you're partnering with. And so we have to begin anything with honesty, with truth, with transparency. Jesus says this to Thomas, and again, it's a beautiful picture. It's one of the greatest images and ideas that the Christ leaves with us. And we call him Doubting Thomas, but he's really not doubting. He simply wants to see what the other disciples saw so that he can believe on the level that they believe. So he simply wants to have the same experience. Jesus loves him enough to come back and give it to him. He loves him enough to come back and let him handle him where he was hurt the most. He says, handle me. And there's a beauty in the strength of vulnerability. And when we can be vulnerable in relationship and when we can allow people to handle us where we hurt, then that's when they can believe the most. And so there's a beauty in vulnerability in friendship. And truth is being vulnerable. It's showing people your scars. It's showing and sharing people your wounds and your hurts. We think that strength is the place that we find relationship and friendship. But sometimes we find it with our weakness and with our wounds. It's the place that draws us together and we connect in covenant over sometimes our common calamities. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be perfect to be friendship.
Beautiful. That's absolutely correct, and it's beautiful when it happens that way.
Yeah,
When you find that friend in a place or during a time that you weren't looking for, and God says, "This is who I brought you. This is I brought them for such a season and a time as this." Before I go to this friendship and going to relationships to connect those, what about those friendships that are there for a season? Why is it so hard sometimes to say, especially for the younger ones? I remember, when I was younger, I felt like this person should be my friend for the rest of my life. And when it didn't happen, sometimes I was like, why? What happened? What did I do? And, I had to mature in that to say everyone isn't supposed to be in your life all the time for
yeah,
a lifetime.
yeah. And Melissa, is what I tell people. If we haven't fallen out, we're still friends. Distance does not remove our covenant. Life takes us in different directions. But if we left on good terms, we don't have to talk every day. That's the beauty of friendship. We don't have to talk every day. I think that that's, again, a false reality that friendship means that we hang out every day and that, we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. We go shopping together. No, like, some of my greatest friends I haven't talked to in years,
Yes.
and we can see each other and pick up like we never left off. That's the beauty of friendship. And so if we haven't fallen out, we still cool after time. Like there's nothing wrong. Like it's called being busy. How about that? I'm not acting funny. I'm acting busy. I got stuff to do, and we can't just sit up and hang around each other every day to feel like we're friends. No, we have families, we go in different directions. Life offers us different opportunities. And a good friend will allow you to do your life. And when you come back together, y'all can pick up like life never took you in different directions. You can enjoy your time. And then guess what? You can be done and go your separate ways again. How about that? Fools disagree and fall out. Wise men disagree and go their separate ways. And so if we haven't fallen out, we still friends.
Still friends.
Yeah.
We're still friends. Look at there. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's go to this question right here. It's dealing with your friendships becoming, I guess, maybe more. The question is friendship relationships. On many occasions, sometimes they turn into romantic relationships. Does being friends first really enhance the chances of a successful relationship, possibly a
Uh,
marriage?
Absolutely. Carla Godbee is my best friend. That's why we've been married 28 years. That's who I laugh with. That's who I cry with. That's who I hang out with. That's who I go to movies with. Like, that's my dude. Like, really, my wife is my friend.
She's really a pretty lady, y'all.
Oh, she's beautiful. Like, oh, I got a pretty friend on top of that. She fine as frog hairs, Melissa. And she's my friend because fine runs out. And everybody hear me, the thing that you build your marriage off of, it will run out. But remember, friendship lasts forever. That's why you can't be so quick to hang it on everyone because everybody doesn't deserve that title. But she's the one that has cheered me up. She's the one that has carried my burden. She is the one that I tell my secrets. She knows where the bodies are buried, Melissa, because that's my friend. And so I feel sorry for you if you're contemplating marrying someone that you cannot first call friend. So it may take some time. That's why it takes time in the courting process so that you can come to the conclusion that this is my friend. And then when you have a friend, man, you'll have a spouse that you will never leave. You'll never want to be without them. You'll never want to forsake the covenant that you have with them because to lose them would mean losing your best friend. And if I lost Carla Godbee, I lose my best friend, Melissa.
and we would see it because we see so much love between the two of you. And we'd be like, oh,
I'd be a mess.
Pastor Carla, you got to come back, girl. I don't know what's going on.
Right, like, please come back to him because I'd be a mess.
He love you, girl. He love you. Come back.
I ain't even got hair and I grow hair, Melissa. I just have one strand just all down here somewhere. I'd be a mess.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. One last question, and I don't know if it's the same male that keeps asking this, but with that, men and women being friends, he says, look, some men think, and he put most men think you cannot have just a friendship relationship with a woman. Can you? You can say, it's your best friend. You're having that relationship, that friendship first makes for a very strong or even, more successful, likely of a more successful marriage. But can a woman and a man just be friends?
Oh, absolutely. I'm privileged to pastor thousands of people, and some of them are spiritual daughters, but no, I really have some great friends in my congregation who are females, and I have some great friends right here, Melissa Wade. Again, I just wouldn't know how to do life without you. You're a bright light in dark places in my life, and it's unfortunate that we've been fed the lie that there has to be a sexual attraction between opposite sexes. I think that you miss some brilliant and bright relationships carrying that flawed ideology. No, opposite sex can be amazing friends, and you should have one. Trust me, especially if you're single. You should have a male friend. If you're a female, you should have a female friend if you're a man, because you get all the inside information. Y'all better hear me. I'm hipping you on some game right now. Hey, get you a female friend. That's how I got Pastor Carl. I had a good friend, taught me how to get her.
Absolutely. Amen to that.
Yeah, so we can be friends. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Big shout out to one of my best friends, Ron, who I dated. Brother Daryl is his bestie now. Mm-hmm. And they go at it because they have separate teams when it comes to football. But nonetheless, he was the one who gave me the insight. What do you think? What do you think? Oh.
Right.
Absolutely. So I totally agree. That's going to wrap up Faithfully Speaking today. We've had a ball. Y'all, if you missed any part of this episode, you're going to want to go back and listen, okay? Great information, great insight, and that's what Faithfully Speaking is all about. Sad to wrap it up, but nonetheless, I think God has truly given me a vision that's just going to move on from here. And Bishop, you don't have to be sad. I keep telling you, don't go far, because I'm going to be back, and maybe next time I'll have Pastor Carla with you. Like you see, I'll have Pastor Carla with you.
Yeah, that would be a miracle.
I'll call my sister up and say, "Come on, girl, let's all do this together." And we're gonna pray about, Brother Daryl. That's my dog.
Brother on here. Get brother on here, then we'll be good. Then we'll have a conversation.
Absolutely. The former Marine in him will come all out. And I'm like, Lord, please bless it all. Please.
It's a podcast. It's not church. We need some Marine theology up here. So bring my brother on in.
Oh, definitely. Sounds good. Well, Bishop, again, thank you. As I've told everyone, check him out. You talk about ministry, a brother that can preach, right here. 7:30 Saturday mornings right here on the Light. Bishop, give us the information about the church, where you are now and where you're going, so that everybody can follow you.
Yeah, right now we're presently at 4900 Perspectives Drive in the wonderful city of Durham, but we are headed to higher heights and to greater ground, 4425 Ben Franklin Boulevard in June of 2023. God is doing some amazing things at the river. And if I didn't have a church home and I were you, I'd be a part of it. But if you got a church, stay where you are. We don't want you. We don't need you. Stay where you are. We love you. Peace.
And there you see the website. The River Church Durham is where you can find out more information. Bishop, again, thank you. Give my love to my sister, Pastor Carla. Tell her we talked about her today.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell the man of God we say hello. Kiss your
Definitely.
family for us, and thank you for giving us the privilege of being with you.
You're more than welcome. All right, everyone, that wraps up another Faithfully Speaking. Next month, a different topic, but we will be back nonetheless because you seem like you kind of like this thing, and I like that you like it, okay? How about that? Otherwise, I will see you on the Light 103.9, 10 until 3. Until then, God bless you. We love you. Grace and peace.